Being a landlord sounds simple, but one legal misstep could turn your property investment into a financial headache. Are you prepared to navigate tenant rights, lease agreements, and local laws without getting caught in a legal storm? Many landlords unknowingly fall into traps that could lead to costly lawsuits or property disputes. Join us as we uncover 8 critical legal mistakes landlords must avoid to protect their investments, maintain tenant trust, and stay on the right side of the law. Failing to understand local landlord-tenant laws. Ignoring local landlord-tenant laws can lead to severe consequences for landlords. Every region has unique regulations covering areas like rent collection and eviction procedures. Even minor missteps in understanding these laws can result in legal battles or significant fines. Many landlords mistakenly rely on general knowledge, neglecting the specifics of their area. For instance, some states mandate 24 to 48 hours notice before entering a tenant's property. Entering without proper notice, even for valid reasons like repairs, may lead to tenant harassment claims. Similarly, bypassing required procedures for lease termination or rent increases can nullify actions and trigger lawsuits. Tenant rights regarding repairs and habitability are another critical concern. Laws often require landlords to maintain safe and livable conditions, including prompt repairs for issues like plumbing or heating. Failing to meet these standards could allow tenants to withhold rent, deduct repair costs, or break the lease. To avoid these issues, landlords should study their local landlord-tenant laws thoroughly. Consulting a real estate attorney or joining landlord associations can provide valuable insights. Using reliable online resources also helps landlords stay updated on legal changes. Understanding and following these laws protects landlords' businesses and fosters trust with tenants. Using incomplete or unenforceable lease agreements. A lease agreement is more than just a document, it's the foundation of any landlord-tenant relationship. Using an incomplete or unenforceable lease can lead to significant legal issues and disputes. Many landlords rely on outdated or generic templates, assuming they are adequate, only to find they lack essential specifics. A poorly crafted lease leaves landlords vulnerable to misunderstandings, unnecessary risks, and potential lawsuits. One common issue is failing to clearly define the responsibilities of both parties. Ambiguities can lead tenants to assume landlords are responsible for minor repairs that are actually the tenant's duty. At the same time, landlords may expect tenants to maintain conditions not legally enforceable. These misunderstandings can strain relationships and escalate into costly conflicts. Another frequent problem is the inclusion of unenforceable clauses. Some landlords unknowingly add terms that violate local laws, such as waiving tenants' rights to withhold rent during disputes, or imposing excessive late fees. Courts can void these provisions, and in some cases invalidate the entire lease. Including illegal clauses may even result in penalties and damage the landlord's credibility. To avoid these pitfalls, treat the lease as a critical legal document. Consult a legal professional, or use state-specific lease templates to ensure compliance with local regulations. A thorough lease should clearly outline rent terms, security deposits, maintenance obligations, and dispute resolution procedures. By creating an enforceable lease, landlords minimize risks, build trust with tenants, and pave the way for a successful rental experience. Mishandling tenant screening processes. Screening tenants is a vital step in protecting your property and ensuring a smooth rental experience. Mishandling this process can lead to significant financial losses and legal troubles. Many landlords rush through tenant screening or make errors that violate fair housing laws, risking discrimination claims. A poorly executed screening process jeopardizes rental income and can result in property damage or tenant disputes. One major mistake is failing to establish consistent screening criteria. Some landlords rely on vague judgment, which can lead to renting to financially unstable or irresponsible tenants. Skipping background checks, income verification, or landlord references might save time but can result in costly evictions. Without a clear and consistent process, landlords risk tenants who fail to pay rent or damage the property. Another common issue is non-compliance with fair housing laws. Asking inappropriate questions or using discriminatory criteria, intentionally or not, can lead to legal complaints. Violating these laws, even unintentionally, may result in lawsuits, fines, and reputational damage. To avoid this, landlords must ensure their screening process is both fair and legally compliant. A thorough tenant screening process is the best way to avoid future problems. Use a detailed application to gather essential information, And always run credit checks, verify employment, and check references. Clearly communicate your criteria, including income to rent ratios and credit score requirements, to potential tenants. By dedicating time and effort to this process, you reduce the risk of late payments, property damage, and legal disputes, ensuring a successful and hassle-free tenancy. Ignoring maintenance requests and habitability standards. Neglecting maintenance requests or habitability standards can quickly lead to legal troubles and dissatisfied tenants. Landlords who fail to address these responsibilities risk violating legal requirements and endangering tenant health and safety. Tenants have the right to a home that meets basic habitability standards, including adequate heating, running water, and a safe environment. Ignoring these obligations can result in lawsuits, penalties, and damaged landlord-tenant relationships. Delaying or ignoring tenant maintenance requests is a common mistake. Small issues like a leaky faucet or a broken appliance can escalate into costly repairs if left unattended. For instance, minor plumbing problems may lead to extensive water damage. Tenants often see slow responses as negligence, which undermines trust and sparks disputes. Promptly addressing requests not only resolves issues efficiently, but also shows tenants you value their comfort and safety. Failing to meet habitability standards is another significant risk. Local housing codes mandate that properties be free of hazards like mold, pests, or unsafe wiring. Violations can lead to legal action, fines, or government intervention to enforce compliance. Tenants in unsafe conditions may withhold rent or terminate leases early, causing financial strain for landlords. Keeping your property up to code protects both your tenants and your business. To avoid these pitfalls, address maintenance requests promptly, and ensure your property meets legal standards. Create a system for tenants to report issues and provide regular updates on repairs. Conduct routine inspections to identify potential problems early. By prioritizing maintenance and habitability, landlords foster trust, create a safer environment for tenants, and protect their investments from costly disputes. Violating fair housing laws. Violating fair housing laws is one of the most serious mistakes a landlord can make, with potentially devastating consequences. These laws protect tenants from discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, or familial status. Non-compliance can result in lawsuits, fines, and reputational damage. Even unintentional violations can lead to penalties and a permanent mark on your record as a property owner. One common mistake is using discriminatory language in rental listings or tenant communications. Terms like no children or singles only may seem innocuous, but directly violate fair housing regulations. Similarly, asking inappropriate questions during tenant screenings, such as those about religion or family size, can be considered discriminatory. All communication should remain neutral and focus solely on the applicant's ability to meet rental criteria. Another issue arises when landlords apply rules inconsistently. Offering leniency or enforcing stricter requirements based on personal biases can lead to accusations of discrimination. For instance, allowing one tenant to pay rent late without penalty while penalizing another can appear biased. Consistency in applying screening procedures, lease terms, and policies is essential to maintaining compliance and trust. Educating yourself about fair housing laws is the best way to avoid costly errors. Ensure that your policies from advertising to tenant screening are free of bias and fully compliant. Regular training on fair housing practices can help you and your team stay updated on legal changes. By fostering an inclusive and respectful rental process, you protect yourself from legal repercussions and create a welcoming environment for diverse tenants. Overlooking proper eviction procedures. Overlooking proper eviction procedures is a costly mistake that can lead to legal battles and financial losses for landlords. While eviction may be necessary for issues like non-payment of rent or lease violations, it must be carried out in accordance with local laws. Skipping steps or rushing the process can result in wrongful eviction claims, fines, or court rulings in favor of tenants. A common mistake is failing to provide proper notice to tenants. Different jurisdictions have specific requirements for notices, such as pay or quit notices for unpaid rent or cure or quit notices for lease violations. Serving notices improperly, whether by not providing enough time or failing to do so in writing, can invalidate the eviction process. Another frequent error is resorting to unauthorized actions like changing locks, shutting off utilities, or removing tenants' belongings. which are illegal and unethical in most areas. Instead, landlords must obtain an official eviction order through the court system, ensuring a legal and orderly process. Maintaining professionalism and treating tenants with respect during eviction proceedings is essential. Remaining calm, professional, and documenting every step safeguards landlords from legal repercussions and ensures a lawful resolution while transitioning to reliable tenants. Mismanaging security deposits. Mismanaging security deposits is a common but avoidable mistake that can lead to disputes, legal issues, and financial losses for landlords. A security deposit serves as both a financial safeguard and a trust agreement between you and your tenant. Missteps like improper collection, storage, or return of the deposit can result in penalties and damage tenant relationships. Understanding security deposit regulations is crucial for protecting your investment and reputation. One common error is failing to comply with laws governing deposit amounts. Many jurisdictions limit security deposits to 1 or 2 months' rent, and exceeding these limits can lead to fines or refunds. Providing tenants with a clear explanation of the deposit's purpose builds trust and clarifies expectations during the lease term. Another mistake is not storing deposits according to local rules. Some areas require landlords to keep deposits in a separate interest-bearing account rather than mixing them with personal or business funds. Failing to comply can result in legal challenges from tenants. Additionally, some jurisdictions require landlords to disclose where the deposit is held and report on accrued interest. Keeping organized records ensures compliance and reduces disputes. Returning the deposit is another area where landlords often falter. Deducting funds without proper documentation or failing to return deposits within legal timeframes can result in claims of unfair practices. Use detailed records, such as move-in checklists and photos, to document the property's condition before and after the lease. Clearly communicate any deductions and return the remaining balance promptly to comply with the law and maintain goodwill. Managing security deposits carefully is essential for fostering positive tenant relationships and avoiding unnecessary legal complications. Neglecting proper documentation. Neglecting proper documentation is one of the most costly mistakes a landlord can make. Every interaction, agreement, and transaction with tenants should be backed by thorough records to prevent misunderstandings and potential legal disputes. Documentation is a landlord's strongest defense, ensuring clarity and accountability for both parties throughout the lease term. A common oversight is failing to document the initial condition of the property. Conducting a detailed move-in inspection with photos protects both landlord and tenant by establishing a baseline. Without this, disputes over damage at move-out can become difficult to resolve. Another critical area is ensuring lease agreements and communications are in writing. Verbal agreements may seem convenient but are often unenforceable. A comprehensive, legally binding lease should detail all terms including rent, maintenance responsibilities, and policies on pets or subletting. Maintaining written records of notices, complaints, and maintenance requests creates a clear paper trail in case disagreements arise. Neglecting financial documentation is another major pitfall. Always provide rent receipts and keep records of all monetary exchanges such as deposits and late fees. This practice ensures transparency and supports proper bookkeeping. Additionally, retaining copies of legal forms, notices, and amendments to the lease shields you from claims of mismanagement. Proper documentation protects your rights, fosters trust with tenants, and reduces the likelihood of costly disputes. Taking the time to create and maintain accurate records is essential for successful property management. That concludes our list of the top legal mistakes landlords must avoid. From understanding tenant laws to managing security deposits and documentation, these steps can save you from costly legal troubles and help you build strong relationships with tenants. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to DwellScape. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos. Until next time, keep managing your property smartly and legally.